All right, final 49ers update of the week here from Levi's ahead of 49ers Seahawks. Nick Bosa back out on the practice field. Hadn't been there Wednesday and Thursday as he rested from the hip pointer, but felt good enough today to be sprinting around on that practice field. A lot of energy from Nick Bosa. I'll tack on a video at the end so you can see for yourself. George Kittle also on the practice field for the 49ers. Both he and Bosa are technically listed as questionable, but remember, there is no probable designation in the NFL anymore, so I think they're going to play. I would lean heavily toward that side with both Nick Bosa and George Kittle. I have some more questions in my mind about Trent Williams, who was not out at practice, hadn't practiced all week. Ankle and wrist issues have been on the report for Trent Williams. I think the ankle is the bigger concern. Kyle Shanahan said that may go all the way up until game time for Trent Williams. Charvarius Ward still not around due to the personal issue. Obviously, his daughter Amani Joy passed away tragically a couple weeks ago now, so Charvarius Ward still away from the team. Renardo Green, who's actually the NFL's third highest graded cornerback, he initially made a name for himself last month when the 49ers beat the Seattle Seahawks up in the Pacific Northwest. He was covering DK Metcalf. Well, I think that Renardo Green is going to have a chance to make a name for himself again, because it's going to be him. It's going to be the new money man, Diamador Lenore, who just signed that big contract for the 49ers, and it's going to be Isaac Yiadom having to man the top three cornerback positions against Seattle. Mitch Wishnowsky officially ruled out of this game. In fact, the 49ers will probably move their punter, Mitch Wishnowsky, to injured reserve to make room for Yetur Gross-Matos, who's definitely going to be back to bolster the 49ers defensive line in this game. Gross-Matos had a good week of practice, a good 2 weeks of practice, and he's now officially coming off of IR. 49ers' new punter, well, I'll talk about him in a little bit because we've got the interview with Pat O'Donnell that happened in the locker room that I'm going to tack on to this video. Kevin Givens was working off on the side today, but he's officially been ruled out with his groin injury, so Kevin Givens is going to miss another week. Although it does seem that the work for him on the side is ramping up, so I really would expect Kevin Givens to be back next week against Green Bay. 49ers initially thought he'd be back this week, but that did get pushed back by at least a smidge. The big question, obviously, is Trent Williams, who, with that ankle injury, if he's not available to go, then Jalen Moore would have to start in his place. And that would be a significant loss for the 49ers against the divisional rival like the Seattle Seahawks. Although I will say that Seattle's dealing with even more shocking of a loss here. And then this one's a certain loss because Connor Williams, their starting center, has decided to retire. Now, apparently, Williams made this decision earlier this week, but it just now hit the media. Starting center, that's a tough position to lose on the fly. Seattle is coming off of their bye week. They're going to have a second-year man, Oluwatimi, start in Connor Williams' place. He's got some experience. Most of it came last year, but I do wonder if the 49ers intensify some of the pressure coming up the middle, coming up the A-gap against Seattle. Remember in 2020 when the 49ers had massive center issues of their own? They're down to like their fourth stringer, Hronis Grasu. Their season in 2020 was derailed for good up in Seattle when the Seahawks just blitzed the crap out of the A-gap against the 49ers, taking advantage of their center issues. We'll see if the 49ers can get some payback against the Seahawks after Connor Williams, their starting center, has decided to retire. One more injury for the 49ers, by the way, I didn't mention. This one also pertains to the offensive line. Aaron Banks, their left guard, he reported a thigh issue after practice on Thursday, so he is officially listed as questionable. Remember that the 49ers have John Feliciano in the tank right now. He is on the second week of his practice window, coming off of IR and the knee injury, so I think he's healthy and ready to be activated at any time. If Aaron Banks is unable to go by Sunday, could be a good time to activate John Feliciano, who ultimately took over the 49ers right guard spot last year. He's versatile enough to take over the left guard spot this year, or center if the 49ers need it there. Obviously, they're getting good play at right guard with Dominic Pooney. I think Jake Brendel has been delivering a solid season ever since he really struggled to open it, but that might have been due to the knee tendonitis. It's actually Aaron Banks' spot at left guard that has the lowest pass block efficiency score. So if he's unable to go, maybe John Feliciano can help out there. Brandon Ayuk underwent knee surgery earlier this week. Remember that he had the ACL to repair, and there was also some other damage, might have been the MCL, for Brandon Ayuk in the knee following that injury against the Kansas City Chiefs. He underwent surgery. You have to wait a while after these injuries for the swelling to go down before surgery can happen. 49ers and Ayuk did wait, and Brandon Ayuk has now undergone that surgery. The recovery timetable for him is going to be determined here over the next couple of weeks as the aftermath of that surgery and the initial parts of the rehabilitation are set. The 49ers' new punter is Pat O'Donnell. I'll let you guys decide for yourself if he looks like Jimmy Garoppolo or not, but that was one of the things that a lot of fans thought as soon as Pat O'Donnell was signed. And it's funny because, and he mentioned this in the interview, he held for Robbie Gould to begin his career. And well, Robbie Gould has a connection to Jimmy Garoppolo that I'll discuss after this interview.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I wasn't aware of the stretch they had when I was working out a couple weeks back, but I'm sure having a veteran leadership from Moody and and Pep and things like that going into the cold weather games definitely is going to help, yeah.
Is there a trick to doing that, and especially the holding in Green Bay?
Just staying warm? Yeah, no. Honestly, it's getting a good feel for it pregame. I know it's really important with the holder and the kicker, just get on the same page and having good aiming and visual points. So I think I can help him with that, especially in Green Bay. Swirls a little bit. And I know he's not a rookie compared to being in cold weather because he played at Michigan, so he'll be okay.
Tabor said that you guys go back to 2020 doing off-season workouts and stuff.
Yeah, when he was down there at Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down there in South Florida. So
you've worked with him before.
I have, yeah.
Yep. Does that help?
I think so. Yeah, it can't hurt. I mean, having any type of familiarity with anybody, I think is definitely going to help. And having him as a veteran snapper in this league now, he's seen it all. So having a new guy in here, I don't think it's going to spook him.
How quickly can you build a rapport with a kicker in terms of holding?
Well, he gave me the scooter I can ride home today, so I think he likes me so far. But no, I think it's just spending as much time as we can. I watched the game last night, just building it as fast as we possibly can. So he's a good kid, and I think he likes having a veteran holder, in his corner.
Was there anybody that you held for a long time with your stops?
Long time. I mean, when I was younger, I had Robbie Gould.
Okay.
So I kind of got baptized by Robbie and all the different things that he demands sometimes. So it made me a better player for sure.
Is anybody confused with Jimmy Garoppolo yet?
Not yet. I've heard that though.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Robbie about coming
He
here?
just shot me a quick text message, congratulating me.
So Pat O'Donnell held for Robbie Gould to begin his career in Chicago, and it just so happens that Robbie Gould is now the head coach at Rolling Meadows High School in suburban Chicago, right over there by O'Hare Airport. That is the alma mater of Jimmy Garoppolo. And Pat O'Donnell, according to many, does look like Jimmy Garoppolo. He laughed about it during the interview today. One more piece of specialist news for the 49ers. They've waived kicker Matthew Wright from injured reserve, so it required an injury settlement for that to happen. This is a procedural move that allows the 49ers to potentially re-sign Wright if they do need a kicker later this season. Otherwise, they would have had to use a return from IR spot for Matthew Wright, and they only have 8 of those. And with guys going on IR like Mitch Wishnowsky and guys already on IR, they had to activate Christian McCaffrey from IR. They're already using those spots, and they project to use more of them. They don't want to run out of those spots, so they reached an injury settlement with Matthew Wright so that way they can bring him back if that does become a need later. Wright had originally dislocated his shoulder against the Seattle Seahawks when the 49ers played them in October. That led San Francisco to sign Anders Carlson. Carlson's now with the Jets on their practice squad, and the 49ers have Jake Moody back on the team. He's also got that new holder in Pat O'Donnell. They hope that the kicking operation works better than it did in Moody's return from a high ankle sprain against Tampa Bay last week. He obviously has had a week to knock off the rust now, and the 49ers will see how that plays out against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. All right, that's the final update of the week here from Levi's Stadium. Much more content coming for you between now and game time, but this is the last time you'll see me from the stadium until Sunday, so hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk to you soon.